Most men chase. They chase attention, validation, affection, believing that effort equals attraction. But what they don't realize is that every time they chase, they teach her one dangerous lesson: that she's the prize and he's the pursuer. And the moment that dynamic forms, the balance of power is gone. Because no woman ever chases the man who can't stop chasing her. If you want to make a woman chase you instantly, you don't do it by saying the right words or playing games. You do it by creating emotional gravity, the kind of energy that pulls her in without effort, the kind of silence that makes her curious, the kind of presence that feels rare in a world full of noise. Attraction isn't built through pursuit. It's built through perception. And the man who understands this, who knows how to remain calm while everyone else scrambles for approval, becomes magnetic by default. When you stop chasing, you trigger something primal in her psychology: uncertainty. And uncertainty is the fuel of desire. Because deep down, every woman is drawn to what she can't fully understand. She wants to feel something deeper than attention. She wants to feel intrigue. And the man who can stay mysterious while still being grounded becomes unforgettable. The secret isn't about ignoring her. It's about mastering yourself. The man who can control his attention controls the entire dynamic. When you no longer seek to impress her, she starts trying to impress you. When you no longer ask for validation, she starts wondering why you don't need it. And that's the moment the chase begins. Not because you manipulated her, but because your restraint exposed her own curiosity. Every time you hold your silence, every time you stay composed instead of reactive, every time you walk away from validation and toward purpose, you increase your value in her eyes. She starts sensing something rare: masculine discipline, the ability to want her without needing her. And that is the line every high-value man must learn to walk: desire without dependency, connection without collapse, emotion without attachment. So when you see her watching you, when you notice her trying to get your attention again, understand this: it wasn't your charm that drew her in. It was your control. It wasn't your words that made her feel something. It was your stillness. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how to make any woman chase you instantly. Not through tricks or ego, but through energy, composure, and the power of being the man who doesn't move first. Before we start, remember, if you're ready to master yourself and the dating game, my full course is waiting at the stoiccouple.podia.com site. Join once and you're in for life, with lifetime access to every future lessons, series, and books. Start your journey now. Because growth doesn't wait. Let's dive in. Section 1. The psychology of the chase. Every chase begins with emotion, not logic. A woman doesn't pursue a man because he's perfect. She pursues him because he makes her feel. And the emotion that drives that pursuit isn't comfort. It's curiosity. She needs to know why you're not reacting like the others. Why you don't seem moved by her charm, her beauty, or the attention she's used to receiving. Your lack of reaction becomes its own form of power, and that power slowly starts to pull her in. Attraction, at its core, is tension. It's the space between certainty and confusion, between what she knows and what she feels. When you're constantly available, constantly trying, constantly explaining your interest, you eliminate that tension completely. You give her all the answers before she's even asked the questions. But when you stay composed, when your silence holds mystery, you create the emotional space where attraction thrives. She begins to wonder who you really are, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what makes you so unaffected by her. And that wondering becomes desire. Most men chase because they crave control. They want a guarantee. They think if they show more interest, they'll secure her attention. But paradoxically, it's that very need for control that repels her. She senses it immediately. The overinvestment, the emotional dependency, the desire for reassurance. And in her mind, if she already knows she can have you, she no longer feels you. The chase dies before it ever begins. The psychology of the chase is simple yet profound. People value what they earn, not what they're handed. When you make her work to understand you, not through manipulation, but through discipline, you shift her focus inward. Instead of analyzing your mistakes, she starts analyzing her own. She starts wondering what she said, what she missed, why your energy feels different from every other man who crumbles under her silence. And the more she thinks, the more invested she becomes. You see, the feminine is drawn to the masculine not because of looks or words, but because of stability. The man who remains still when tested, calm when challenged, and composed when desired triggers a deep emotional reaction she can't control. She starts to respect him first, and from that respect, attraction grows. Because in her subconscious, stillness equals strength. The chase isn't about running or hiding. It's about letting her feel your absence as presence, a calm confidence that doesn't need attention to exist. When she realizes you're not affected by her pull, she becomes curious. When she becomes curious, she becomes engaged. And when she becomes engaged, she begins to chase. That's the psychological truth most men never learn. Women don't chase men who need them. They chase men they can't quite understand. Section 2. Why chasing kills. Attraction instantly. The moment you start chasing, everything changes. The energy flips. What once felt mysterious now feels predictable, and what once drew her in now starts to push her away. Because in that instant, she no longer sees you as the calm center. She sees you as another man pulled by her gravity. And nothing kills attraction faster than predictability. Chasing destroys the balance between desire and respect. A woman might enjoy attention, but she only respects power. And the man who chases reveals that his emotions are being controlled, not by purpose, but by her response. Every double text, every check-in, every over-explained message quietly teaches her that she is the one setting the emotional tempo. And when she controls the tempo, she loses the tension. Without tension, desire dies. The tragedy is that most men chase with good intentions. They confuse effort with value. They believe that by showing more care, they'll earn more affection. But emotional truth doesn't work that way. Attraction doesn't grow through reassurance. It grows through uncertainty. It's not about being distant for the sake of distance, but about showing that your world doesn't shrink when she pulls away. That steadiness is what creates polarity. And polarity is the foundation of attraction. When a man chases, he breaks the illusion that makes him magnetic. Instead of being the grounded, composed force that she can't fully read, he becomes transparent, his thoughts, his needs, his motives all exposed. There's no curiosity left to fuel her emotions. The mystery is gone. And when there's no mystery, there's no movement. She starts to feel safe in his attention, but not excited by it. In her mind, chasing signals dependence. It tells her that you've placed her at the center of your emotional world, that her validation defines your mood. And while her ego might enjoy that power, her heart doesn't respect it. She might play along for a while, accepting your energy, your compliments, your pursuit. But deep down, she already knows the truth. She doesn't chase what's chasing her. The irony is that chasing doesn't just make her lose attraction. It makes you lose yourself. It takes you out of your masculine frame, out of your stillness, out of the emotional space where your power lives. You start performing for attention instead of existing in purpose. And once you start performing, you've already lost. The Stoic man understands that love without balance is illusion. He knows that every time he chases, he gives away a piece of his peace. So instead of running after her, He redirects that energy inward, toward mastery, purpose, and self-control. Because when you stop chasing, you stop teaching her how to treat you, and start teaching her what a man with gravity truly looks like. Section 3. How to flip the energy and make her chase you. To make a woman chase you, you must first stop chasing anything, because chasing is a symptom of emotional imbalance, and attraction only thrives where a man is centered. The key isn't in what you do next, it's in what you stop doing. You stop explaining, you stop proving, you stop making your interest louder than your presence. Because when your presence becomes louder than your pursuit, her energy starts to shift. The moment you pull your focus away from her and back onto yourself, something changes in the dynamic. She feels it before she understands it. The energy that once flowed toward her starts returning to you. And with that return comes gravity. Suddenly, you're not orbiting her anymore. She's noticing the silence you've left behind. She starts wondering what captured your attention, what replaced her importance, what moved your peace away from her. That wondering is where the chase begins. The masculine always attracts through composure. It's not about indifference, it's about discipline. The man who can want without needing, who can care without clinging, who can feel deeply yet stay still. That man holds an energy that unsettles and attracts at the same time. Because most men move emotionally like water, reacting to every touch, every message, every signal. The rare man moves like stone, steady, quiet, and unbothered. And that's exactly what pulls her in. To flip the energy, you must become emotionally scarce in a world drowning in validation. You do this not by ghosting, but by redirecting your time toward your mission. The man on purpose always radiates an energy of motion. Not because he's running from her, but because he's walking toward something higher. When she sees that you're no longer emotionally available on demand, she begins to reevaluate your worth. What she once assumed would always be there now feels like a privilege she could lose. She'll start to test the silence, a story reaction, a casual message, a subtle, "How have you been?" Don't mistake that for disinterest. It's curiosity mixed with craving. She's trying to feel your energy again without admitting it. And if you stay composed, measured responses, calm tone, no emotional chase, you amplify her attraction without saying a word. Because what she's chasing isn't attention anymore. It's equilibrium. You flip the polarity. She's now trying to figure you out. And the longer you stay grounded, the deeper her intrigue grows. Because she's not chasing the man who ignores her. She's chasing the man whose peace she can't disturb. That's the power shift. You don't chase her feelings anymore. You let her chase your frequency. And once you understand that dynamic, you'll never move first again. Section 4. The art of emotional control. Every man who masters attraction eventually learns that it has nothing to do with what he says, and everything to do with what he doesn't react to. Because control is the rarest form of confidence. In a world where most people move with impulse, the man who moves with patience instantly stands out. His silence, his timing, his emotional restraint, they all speak louder than words ever could. Emotional control is not suppression, it's awareness. It's the ability to feel everything without acting on anything. When a woman sees that kind of control, she feels both safe and curious. Safe because she can sense that you won't crumble under pressure. Curious because she can't predict you. And unpredictability, when combined with calmness, is the foundation of attraction. The problem is that most men mistake emotion for connection. They believe that showing intensity will prove sincerity, but intensity without restraint feels chaotic. It feels like instability disguised as passion. What women actually crave is emotional stability that feels powerful, the kind that says, "I can care deeply and still walk away if I must." That's not coldness. That's control. When you learn to stay calm while she tests you, ignores you, or even withdraws, you shift the polarity in an instant. Because now, she's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one reading your silence, trying to interpret your stillness. You've become the mystery again. And mystery, in the feminine psyche, equals emotional gravity. She can't help but be drawn toward what she can't fully read. Control is magnetic because it communicates abundance. A man who can stay still is a man who isn't desperate. He's not fighting for approval. He's not seeking validation. He's already full, and women can sense that fullness. They can feel when your attention is optional, not automatic. That awareness flips the emotional script. She starts investing in you, not because she has to, but because she wants to understand you. Every time you respond slowly instead of instantly, every time you speak with calm instead of defensiveness, every time you walk away from chaos instead of arguing with it, you raise your value silently. You're showing her that your emotions are your responsibility, not hers. And that's what separates you from every other man she's met. You don't outsource your peace. This is why the art of emotional control is the foundation of the chase. Because when you control your emotions, you control the rhythm of the connection. And when you control the rhythm, she follows your lead. In the end, attraction isn't about dominance, it's about direction. The man who controls his emotions controls the energy, and the man who controls the energy controls everything. Section 5. The power of silence and space. Silence is not the absence of communication, it's the highest form of it. It speaks the truth that words can't reach. In a world where everyone is constantly talking, reacting, proving, and performing, silence becomes magnetic. It's the language of strength. And for a woman, nothing is more intriguing than a man who doesn't need to fill the silence just to feel significant. When you stop speaking to convince and start allowing the quiet to do the work, you create emotional tension. That tension is what she feels when you don't reply immediately, when you don't post for attention, when you don't explain yourself after walking away. It's not coldness, it's control. Silence leaves room for imagination, and imagination is the seed of attraction. A woman's mind doesn't rest in certainty, it lives in curiosity, and your silence feeds that curiosity. She starts to wonder where you are, what you're thinking, whether you've moved on, or if she ever really understood you at all. Every unanswered question becomes an emotional hook. Every moment of your absence becomes a reflection of your value. Space, just like silence, isn't distance. It's design. It gives her the emotional contrast she needs to feel you again. When you're constantly present, she acclimates to your energy. She stops noticing its weight. But when you step back with calm assurance, you create contrast. Suddenly, your presence has meaning again. She begins to crave what she once took for granted: your steadiness, your attention, your composure. You see, space isn't about ignoring her. It's about reminding her that your world doesn't shrink to fit hers. It's about showing that your time is earned, not demanded. And in that space, something powerful happens. She begins to chase clarity. She starts reaching out, not because you're gone, but because your absence has turned into presence. She feels you in the quiet. She sees you in the stillness. You've become a thought she can't easily silence. This is the paradox of masculine silence. The less you say, the more she listens. The less you move, the more she watches. The less you react, the more she feels. Because silence amplifies everything: her thoughts, her doubts, her longing. It forces her to project meaning onto your stillness, and that projection becomes emotional investment. So don't fear silence. Don't rush to fill space. Let it stretch. Let it breathe. Because in that quiet tension, you reclaim the frame. You remind her that while she may capture attention from many, she can only feel depth from one. The man whose peace can't be disturbed. Section 6. When she starts to chase you. It doesn't happen with a grand gesture or a sudden confession. It happens quietly, slowly, as her emotions begin to turn inward. At first, she tells herself she doesn't care. Then she wonders why she keeps checking if you've watched her story, why she keeps revisiting old messages, why she can feel your absence even when she's surrounded by attention. That's when it begins. The shift. The moment when she starts to chase you. She starts small. A message that seems casual. A comment that looks harmless. Maybe she reacts to something you post, not because she has something to say, but because she wants to see if you'll notice. Women don't chase through words at first. They chase through subtle invitations to reconnect. It's her way of saying, "Are you still there?" But the man she once knew, the one who reacted instantly, is gone. Now your energy is different. You're calm, you're measured, you're present, but not predictable. And that difference unsettles her in the best way. When a woman starts to chase, it's never just about missing you. It's about missing how she felt around you. She misses the sense of balance your presence created, the quiet confidence, the grounded energy that made her feel safe without words. She realizes that her world feels louder without your silence in it, and that awareness turns into longing. But here's the part most men don't understand. When she begins to chase, you don't reward her with immediate attention. You match her pace with calm indifference. You stay polite, composed, minimal. Every time you respond slowly and intentionally, you reinforce the mystery that's driving her emotions. You remind her that your energy isn't a reward she can simply summon. It's something she must now earn. That's the psychological power of the man who mastered detachment. His value increases in her mind, not because he became someone else, but because he finally stopped trying to prove himself. His restraint becomes the standard she now measures other men against. His silence becomes the echo she can't silence in her own thoughts. She starts craving your attention not as validation, but as equilibrium, the calm she lost when you left. The more she feels that imbalance, the more she reaches out. And every time she does, she's reminded that what she once controlled no longer belongs to her. That realization stirs desire, respect, and quiet obsession, all born from your stillness. By the time she starts to chase you, the game is already over, because you're no longer playing it. You're simply existing in your peace, while she tries to find her way back to the energy she once felt around you. And that's when she finally understands. The man who made her chase wasn't trying to win her back. He was teaching her what it feels like to lose a man who knows his worth. Section 7. The man she can't replace. Every woman eventually meets a man who stays in her mind long after he's gone. Not because he tried harder than others, but because he didn't need to try at all. He moved differently. He felt different. His silence carried more meaning than most men's words, and when he left, he didn't leave through anger or argument. He simply faded, taking his peace with him. That's the man she can't replace. She'll try. She'll meet new faces, have new conversations, and tell herself she's moved on. But every connection will feel slightly off. Too loud, too eager, too predictable. She'll feel the difference immediately, because what she's really looking for isn't attention anymore. It's presence. The kind of calm that only comes from a man who's already whole. You see, when you walked away, you didn't just remove yourself from her life. You removed the emotional stability that your presence represented. You stopped being a source of validation and became a symbol of balance. And once a woman feels that kind of balance, she spends years trying to recreate it, sometimes without even realizing it. That's why she checks your profile, why she thinks of you when she's quiet, why she compares every man after you. It's not obsession, it's recognition. Deep down, she knows she experienced something real, and she's not sure she'll ever feel it again. The man she can't replace isn't the one who gave her everything. It's the one who made her feel everything. The one who triggered her curiosity, her vulnerability, her humility. The one who made her respect silence again. That's what your restraint did. It turned you from a person into an experience. You became a mirror that forced her to see herself clearly. And once she saw that reflection, she couldn't unsee it. Even if she finds someone new, your energy lingers. Not because she misses your presence, but because she misses who she was when she was around you. Calmer, softer, more in touch with her feminine side. That's the irony. Your silence didn't push her away. It awakened something in her that noise never could. She might never tell you this. She'll hide it behind smiles, distractions, new beginnings. But deep down, she knows. She knows that you were the one man who didn't beg for her attention, the one who didn't break when she tested you, the one who could love her deeply, yet leave her peacefully. And that realization stays, quietly, permanently. Because the man she can't replace isn't the one she had. It's the one who taught her, through silence and strength, what it truly means to lose a man who knows his worth. In the end, it always comes full circle. The man who once felt invisible becomes unforgettable, and the woman who once had every answer starts to question everything. Because time has a way of revealing what pride hides, and silence has a way of saying what words never could. There comes a day when she finally understands that the man who didn't chase her was never losing her. She was losing him. The man who stayed calm while she created chaos wasn't weak. He was wise. The one who stopped explaining wasn't cold. He was clear. And the moment she realizes that, the illusion breaks. The power dynamic flips. She finally sees what you were trying to show all along, that you were the prize. What she mistook for indifference was self-control. What she called distance was dignity. What she labeled silence was strength. And as that truth settles in, it rewires her memory of you. Every moment she once downplayed now feels heavy with meaning. Every message she ignored now feels like a lost opportunity. Because the truth is, she never stopped feeling you. She just stopped understanding you. And when a woman can't understand a man, she can't stop thinking about him. You became the mirror that exposed her own patterns, the man who refused to validate her through need. You walked away, not to punish her, but to preserve yourself. And that single decision, to choose peace over approval, turned you into the kind of man every woman eventually respects. Because deep down, even she knows, real strength doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't react, it remains. It doesn't beg to be chosen, it becomes the standard by which others are measured. And so she'll move on, perhaps. She'll meet new people, live new stories, and tell herself she's healed. But there will always be moments, quiet, unplanned, unexpected, when her thoughts drift back to you. A scent, a song, a silence. And in that silence, she'll feel it again. That peace she only ever felt in your presence.